And this is the fundamental predicament that we're all in right now. We all have within our neuro system, our chakra system that lines our spinal cord system. It's like we all have this candle within us. The wick of the candle is our pineal gland, our enlightenment gland. But the problem is none of our candles are lit. None of our elevators go to the top. And this is what I'm talking about with the next level of human. The next human will have our elevators will go to the top. And it's up to us to break on through this barrier that says that we can't do this when everything about the ancient past, every single spiritual tradition says we can.
And indeed we can. Let's go back and talk for a few minutes about these 13 star systems that are out there. Highly populated, in your opinion?
I would say so. I mean, just based on how important they are in myth and sacred tradition. Cygnus, the Egyptians said that was their location of heaven. And they talked about their beings, especially their creator gods, Ptah, coming from Sirius. So it suggests to me that what we're describing here is Earth being brought online with these other, or Earth and Sol, the name of our star system, being brought online with this federation of star systems and this greater life that's out there. I call this the New World Order, because while many talk about the New World Order as being some kind of a prison planet scenario, what I'm saying is that if we break through this and actually look at what the ancients were trying to get us to connect with, that's the New World Order, is us connecting our consciousness with these vastly advanced beings and beginning to picture ourselves as a member of a federation, if you will, of these star systems with beings coming and going. And the next step is just to simply say, well, okay, if these beings have always been here, then why can't we communicate with them now? And will this be a part of the disclosure that we're anticipating coming from Obama or perhaps some other organization? My answer is I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think that we're going to start to see the Dalai Lama play a key role in this. Going to be revealing some of this Tibetan knowledge about disclosure and the existence of these beings and how they have always been here, why they're here, and how they can help.
If Jordan Maxwell were with us tonight, William, he'd be talking about the Illuminati, the Illuminate, and you know the way he is with words and phrases. Do you think that, as you mentioned, Illuminati, do they possess something very mystical?
I have no question about that they absolutely do possess these mystical secrets. I think you have, like with everything, you have factions. You have a left wing of the Illuminati and a right wing of the Illuminati. The one I study is the up wing, the group that possesses these advanced mystical teachings, the secrets of ascension. I follow the ones that want to elevate us beyond the level of human. And this goes all the way back to the ancient Anunnaki who established this quote-unquote game, if you will, on Earth, where you had this rivalry between two brothers. On the one hand, you had the creator god Enki that sought to implant within our DNA the mystical knowledge and the ability to transform ourselves into the gods, to match the Anunnaki, even to exceed them. Then you had his brother Enlil in the stories who wanted to keep us on the level of slaves and sex objects and down on the farm. And this has been the battle that has been going on throughout history, and we even see it being played out today.
I think so, too. And the science behind this is remarkable. How many people are investigating things like that? Yourself included, of course. But is it a big field? Is it a wide field? If people want to get involved in this, what do they do?
When you're talking about the rainbow body?
That and just about everything else that has to do with investigative mythology.
In my experience, and I'm truly a blessed person, I believe, George, because I have in my audiences, and I'm sure other researchers will share this sentiment, an extraordinary brain trust of people out there who are studying this. Typically, I think of the greatest untapped resource on the planet if I were to describe that, would be they're female. She's a woman. She's in her mid-50s, early 60s, maybe on the edge of retirement, if not retired, has disposable income. This is her life. There is a vast number of people out there that are dedicating themselves to their spiritual evolution, and it's they who are building this thought form for the next level of human. And when I talk with especially these elderly, or I mean that in the sense that there are elders. These are the sagely women in particular, and also the men too. They recognize that their kids who are in their 20s, 30s, and maybe early 40s are not as much interested in this, but it's their grandchildren who are coming along and who who absolutely resonate with these ideas and are embracing them. And so I see that these elders, these sagely women and men who are doing this work right now are doing it for themselves, but ultimately it's this younger generation that's coming up that's going to benefit most greatly from it.
All right, up next with William Henry, we're going to talk about the reptilians and the Anunnaki. Get ready for that. My, oh, my, oh, my. His website, by the way, williamhenry.net. We'll be back in a moment on Coast to Coast AM. And William's got a major discussion coming up now about reptilians and the Anunnaki, so get ready for that. Hold on to your chairs for that one. Let's talk about reptilians and the Anunnaki, William. What's this major discovery?
Well, for years, people have been talking about these amazing ancient legends that are really worldwide about giant flying lizards and dragons that came to this planet and had a hand in founding civilizations from ancient China to Egypt to India. And in the modern era, we talk about reptilians, and people have a tremendous fear of reptilians, and a lot of this, I think, can be attributed to the work of R.A. Boulay and his work Flying Serpents and Dragons, and then certainly David Icke picked up on this and introduced this idea that there's this reptilian faction of beings that are actually controlling the world. They manipulate the bloodlines of some of the royal families, for example, the British royal family, and they're considered to be, you might even think of them as the heads of the Anunnaki. And I've been listening to this for a long time and tried to keep an open mind about it. And then as I started doing this research into the seraphim, this highest order of angels, I noticed, well, first of all, when you look up the word seraphim, the word means the winged and fiery serpents, or simply the fiery serpents. And when I look at this, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, isn't that the same as the definition of the reptilians? Could there be a connection between these alien reptilians that David Icke and others are talking about and the seraphim? And if so, how do you reconcile David Icke's view of the reptilians with this ancient view of the seraphim as the highest level of beings in the Judeo-Christian tradition? What's going on here? And so I decided to spend some time looking into this, and one of the reasons that it's very important for us to look at this, by the way, is because Maya 2012 prophecy centers around the reappearance of their savior figure whose name is Quetzalcoatl, whose name means the feathered serpent or the winged serpent. Mm-hmm. So is this a David Icke-style reptilian being with a crocodile nose that's coming here to eat us? Or are we, in fact, really talking about the highest order of beings in the Judeo-Christian angelic tradition? That is Quetzalcoatl also a seraphim? Are these beings actually reptilian, or did the ancients somehow have a conception that something about the seraphim is serpentine or serpent-like? For example, they're described as resplendent and shining. But what is it about them that caused them to describe them as serpentine? And as I started matching this up, and I have some images that Lex has posted on the Coast2Coast site that show the correspondence between the seraphim and the rainbow body of Tibetan Buddhism. And what we see with the seraphim is that their bodies are feathered, they're winged, and their bodies are also vortex-shaped. These are the winged serpents. These are the quote-unquote reptilians, or what has been, I believe, misconstrued as the reptilians. These are not these kind of strange crocodile-nosed kind of beings that of David Icke's research. These are a far different type of being that we're dealing with here, and I think what we're actually describing are transformed humans who have achieved this next level, who have achieved the rainbow body, And they manifest. When they manifest, here's what I see happening here, is that as these beings manifest, they are traveling through stargates and wormholes. And in one of the images that I have posted on the Coast site, it's a Tibetan image of the rainbow body. And we see this awakened being, this enlightened being manifesting, and as we look at its neck, it's almost serpentine looking. It has this swirling rainbow energy around it with a gateway surrounding it. And when I began to ponder, and actually it was David Wilcock who affirmed that, hey, this makes a lot of sense, is that it looks like the serpent being description is a primitive interpretation of seeing this luminous or shining stargate behind these people when they first materialize.